Your Excellencies, dear colleagues, honorable guests, I am very happy to be among you for a single cause. It is this Africa that we want to see. It is this uninhibited face of Africa that we want to see. Madame Mayor, a moment ago, you were extremely brilliant. You spoke through us to millions of Africans, and I found myself in your words. Why you emphasize it earlier, my position. I do not pretend to say that Africans are better than others. I am also not afraid to recognize that Africans are good. For those who have the opportunity, and the real problem with us in Africa is that we walk in a scattered world. It is that we do not dream well enough that we have a good project. These same Africans do everything to discourage you. I have friends who often tell me, President, are you not tired? I said, I am not, because I know where I am going. Because the most beautiful thing for me is to make my contribution to our beautiful continent, to our beautiful country, Cameroon. Each time we have challenges that presented themselves to us, I was a player, like most of my teammates. I came out of stadium. I made the decision to attack another career. I had the choice to say I could be football coach because it's first and foremost a passion, but I say no. I will seek the presidency of the most difficult federation. So, someone told me, Samuel, you are crazy. It's impossible. Others told me, it's a closed environment. You will never be able to reach there. With the different supports from people and from others, we won this election. And for almost more than 2 years, we have been carrying exactly the projects that we have promised. But imagine that while we develop and unfold our program, some of us say, no, it's not good. But tell me, I was voted to carry out my program on the basics of my program. So, how do I do? I said, no, I will continue. Why? Because for those of us who have had the chance to evolve in this continent, we know that it is not easy. It's never easy. And I can't count how many sleepless nights I have had before meetings where it was really difficult. But in the end, we won. So, I think that in this presidency, it is hard. But we will achieve our objective. Then this Africa, who showed its face here in Montreal. I will tell you, we represent millions of dreams. I will tell you. Say in Europe, football have much more power because people have understand that it is a business. In North Africa, people have understood that football was before and after all a business. But Southern Africa is still struggling to do so. Southern Africa is still struggling to position itself to have the share of the cake. The first transfer that is made generally from Africa to Europe, when we are overpaid, they paid $200,000, $300,000 for the same player. 6 months later, we pay $30 million. Who wins this money is not Africa. It's not Africa. That is why we are carrying out this fight for the rest of us. It is a fair fight. For the rest of us, we dream of seeing our continent in front. When you watch the French Championship, I saw my brother and friend Hervé Penou. We don't always agree, but I love him because he's a Frenchman who loves Africa. Please clap for this great gentleman. I don't always agree with Hervé, but it happens. But that is also democracy. But he is a great man who loves Africa. So, dear organizers, I would like to tell you, we have the heavy load and a heavy mission of explaining to bring others to understand what we have seen. In reality, you can't blame someone who hasn't seen. Criticize you, he doesn't know. He is manipulated. He is subjected to be influenced. He has things to say. I have the president of the Association of Footballers of the Union of my country, who is here. Former teammate. We arrived at the station of responsibility. When I arrived, one of my plans was to say minimum salary will be 200,000. Not all clubs comply, but I pay at the end because the last word is that of the president. Because the president has the mission to accompany the club, and that is what we do. It takes time for the players to return to their right. But in the end, they will return to their right because we support the clubs. So, when they don't pay, we block their resource. Why do we do it? We are tired to see players who cannot go to Europe, who play in our continent, cannot live a decent life. Yet, they give us pleasure in the stadium. Yet, every weekend, many of us go to the stadium to accompany these players. You know that on their side, it has not always been easy. But the luck we have is that it has been former footballers. They understand the problem I have. I am a former footballer, president of the federation, and I understand the same problems he is facing, maybe with vision and different management. But the most important thing is that at the end of the day, players are protected, which does not mean that we leave the president of the club, because in reality, the first to win in this business, it is the club president. And you all know they don't want us to talk too much about that, but it's the reality. So, Mr. President, dear brothers and friends, the kiss that you did to my right foot, I remember very well. For you, it was perhaps for Barcelona, although I would have preferred it to be for a goal I had scored with the national team. Know that just like the President of the Union has said earlier, I am available 24/7. Well done. Know that we have a duty to support our leaders without doing their politics all the time. Their policy is to bring ideas, but it is also about telling the truth to our leaders, because you can only take a good decision if you have a good relationship. But very often, we have people who make reports that are not completely accurate. So we will support you. And I hope that this Africa which rises today will also accompany the mandate that we have in Cameroon, because, as you can see, we don't have many federation presidents that are former footballers. But it's not because others are not equipped for it. Maybe they don't have the courage. Maybe they do not have the right opportunity. It is also up to us to go to others and say, it is possible. You have one of yours who succeeded somewhere before us. There was Kalushash, I think. But we want to see more presidents of federation to be former footballers. The others don't know our problem like us. He talks about politics. He doesn't talk about developing football. So, President, thank you again for associating me with these great ideas. And I hope that in a few weeks, in a few months, we are going to meet somewhere in Africa, because even if this house is well represented by Africa, I would like, and I beg you, to organize the same event somewhere in our home in Africa, so that we can talk about our problems at home in Africa in front of our brothers. By exchanging, we always end up improving. Thank you. Africa, wake up. Africa, rise up. Africa without borders. Africa, continental free trade area. The time is now. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.